This is Mr. Hardesty. We'll solve an equation with complex solutions. Solve 4x squared minus 2x plus 7 equals 0 by completing the square. To solve by completing the square, the first thing that must be true is that our lead coefficient on the quadratic term must be 1. So the first thing we'll do is divide the entire thing through by 4. And we'll rewrite x squared minus 1/2 x, that's 2/4 simplified, plus 7/4 equals 0. Now that our lead coefficient is 1, we can solve by completing the square. First step, let's move the constant to the right side. So subtract 7/4. So we isolate our x's, and we'll have x squared minus 1/2 x equals negative 7/4. Now, to complete the square, we have to take the coefficient on our linear term, 1/2 of it, and square that. So let's come over here and do that. We're taking 1/2 of our negative 1/2, that is dividing it by 2, and then squaring it. And we do that, and we get 1/16. So we will add that 1/16 to both sides. Negative 1/2 divided by 2 squared is 1/16. And what we add to one side, of course, we must add to the other. And that is the essence of using the completing the square method. Why did we do that? We have now built what we call a perfect square trinomial, and that perfect square trinomial will factor as x minus 1/4 times x minus 1/4, which we'll write as x minus 1/4 squared. And on the other side, we'll take the sum of the two fractions and get negative 27/16. Now, to simplify, let's take the square root of both sides. When we take the square root of something squared, we're left with just x minus 1/4. And what we do there, we must do here. At this point, we realize we're headed for a complex solution because we're going to take the square root of a negative. And to take the square root of that negative, that has to be represented as I, because we know the square root of negative 1 is always represented as I. In fact, we can take the positive or negative square root of that and represent it as positive or negative I. Simplifying radical 27 is 3 radical 3. And again, let's represent that root as positive or negative. And the square root of 16 in the denominator is 4. Finally, to finish the problem, let's add 1/4 to both sides. And we will solve for x. X is equal to positive or negative 3i radical 3 over 4 plus 1/4, which solves for x using completing the square.